Hey guys, and welcome to Barcelona-Catalunya. I'm DeltaNewa from New Zealand. You probably better know me from TeamKeenanAutosport, the YouTube channel that I will be posting this onto. And we are currently about to get ready to start the Catalonian Grand Prix. It's a 25% race. I am in a RedBull driving as Mark Webber, and we're going to be starting in P6 in front of Massa, Hulkenberg, De Resta and Button. So it's really good to see Hulkenberg and De Resta up there in the top 10. And of course we've got Sebastian Vettel, our teammate, Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso and Kimi Raikkonen in front of us. Now this is 2013, so next week I should hopefully be bringing out a video for 2014. Whether it be a Grand Prix, career race or an online race will be up to the choices of you guys in the in the comments below. This is a live commentary just to let you know. I tried the whole Grid Autosport thing, that's kind of failed. The whole purpose of it was to try and create a league, but it didn't work out. So I've come back to Formula 1 and hopefully we can draw a bit more attention, because I think Formula 1 has definitely got the higher success rate than Grid Autosport. So here we go, there's Nico Rosberg in P2 and here we are in P6. So we're looking to go for a slightly cautious strategy. I'm going to start on the lean mix. So as you can see, we're on optimal fuel, so that means we're going to be conserving fuel from the start and hopefully be able to conserve fuel and go hard at the end. So we're away now. Pretty average start. I'm going to use a bit of curves just to stop getting swamped. Got Massa around the outside of me. Heading into the first turn. Brake probably a little too late, but I managed to get around Kimi Raikkonen. And now just trailing the two Mercedes into this right-hander. Got to get this corner just right as it's going. So these two are going to go at it. So I'm going to... Oh, got a bit dodgy there, gave Rosberg a bit of a hip and shoulder, so that wasn't good, and Master's been able to capitalise on that for fourth, but we're going to make short work of that and go up the inside, but looks like we braked a bit too late. He's held his line and we're currently P5, so we've made up a position from the start, so pretty good effort from the team to get the car as good as it is now. So we're chasing down Master in the Ferrari, but remember we're on the lean fuel mix, so we're going to be struggling for performance for now. We've got Hulkenberg attacking us from behind into the tight hairpin corner. A bit wide. It's quite hard to concentrate and drive at the same time, so bear with me guys. It's the first live commentary I've done. So got a bit corner greedy there and here too. Seeming to get away with it though. Oh, bit of wheel spin there. Unfortunately this is losing us time to the front runners, but as you can see here we're now two laps ahead of everyone else in the pit marker. We're going to just probably let Hulkenberg through if he gets the run on us, but it looks like he doesn't because of the curves. So turn one, nice and easy. I'm not sure whether I'm going to be cutting any of this stuff out, so if I do, hopefully I won't take out too much information where this commentary becomes kind of pointless. So we're chasing down Master still, 3.2 seconds, only 4/10 of a second ahead of Hulkenberg, so we're holding up the pack a little bit, but that's just on the basis that we're conserving fuel, trying to get a number so that we can fight it out at the end against the front runners. So we're still consistent. Hopefully maybe a safety car will come out and help benefit us a little bit. I'm not the greatest of drivers either, so I can easily say that it's probably a lack of coordination and driving skill that's kind of costing me a little bit of time as well, as Hulkenberg tries again on the outside of me. So I'm going to brake a little early, but it looks like it made my line a bit wide. Hulkenberg is really hassling me from behind in the Sauber, which is good to see, and it looks like we've had an accident. Not sure where that is from the looks of it, but I don't see any. Oh, there's someone stuck on the track, and I've lost concentration and gone cut the corner, so that's not good. But it's actually given us a bit of a reprieve. Now I think it might have been actually Hulkenberg that caught grief there, because it looks like Rosberg is now in 6th, so maybe we caused something there with Hulkenberg. We'll have to have a look at the replay on that at the end of the race to find out. So, but unfortunate, we're not overly losing too much time at the moment. Lap 3 of 17. 5 seconds into sector 1 and 1.5 ahead of Rosberg. We'll have a look at our fuel again. It's still two laps, so we could easily get some time back by using that fuel now, but then in the end it means that we've got to conserve again and we'll be right back to where we are. So the best plan for now is just to save fuel, keep saving fuel till we get to a certain point of the race where we have enough fuel to be able to attack these guys. And I go immensely wide at one of the worst spots you can do so. Rosberg just zooms past us easily and takes 5th from us. And my engineer is now harping at me to get that position back, which we can if we're good enough. And now he's just telling me about my fuel being good. But as you can see, by being on conservation mode, Rosberg is starting to pull away. The corners is where we kind of get the ground back, but as you'll see, on the straights, he'll just completely leave us for dust. But as you can see, we're now on the DRS, so we've got DRS, and we're going to use that in conjunction with the KERS. And look at that, we just gain on him. But unfortunately, also Button is doing that same thing, so we're going to accidentally cut the corner there, but it looks like the officials have not deemed it as a corner cut, and we're going to keep going. So lap 4 of 17, Vettel is basically blinding us. He is driving away. So I'm making a bit of a mistake there. Button's having a look up the inside, doesn't quite have the run. And unfortunately we just don't have quite the run on Rosberg either. But it's like I say, we're going to a number. We'll have a look at our fuel bar when I can get to a straight. Ooh, overcooked it again, but this time we've held on. 3 laps, but the tyres are already falling away on us. Button has a look on the outside, but we're going to hold our line and then go for the inside. Is he going to cut it back on us? Yes, he's cut back on us. He's done the crisscross, but he's obviously hasn't had the exit he's wanted, so we've been able to fight that position back. We're also holding up the train here, so that's probably why half the reason why Rosberg was so insistent on getting us when he did. And I've just made a huge mistake here, so that's going to cost me another position. There we go. Yep, button up the inside. I've blocked my line from Raikkonen, and actually I've taken Raikkonen out, so unfortunately that's not what you want in a Grand Prix when you're causing people to crash out. But looks like the stewards have not deemed that as only deemed that as a racing incident, so that means I'll be able to carry on. So now we're chasing down Button. We've got 3 laps of fuel, but the tyres are dying, so the best bet from here will be to hold on for one more lap and do an undercut where I come in, get off these tyres, get in some fresh air, and then blitz on the fuel, full rich fuel, to try and get these positions back. If it works, then we should be in a prime position to contend for a race podium. I'd say race win's clearly out of our grasp thanks to Vettel braining us. Or it can completely backfire and I end up having to come in again to do a 3-stop strategy in this 17-lap race, which can ultimately just make me drop back even further. Although, if a safety car were to come out in that situation, that means I could blaze through the field and maybe get a podium, if not a race win. But that's just as I make another mistake. So my tyres are clearly gone, so I'm not going to waste too much time on this and lose even more time. So I'm coming in. Now we've got 3 laps worth of fuel, so I don't know what their strategy is around me, but I'm going to switch it up to full rich and give it the jandle. For all you non-Australian and New Zealand people, giving the jandle was actually a motto given by New Zealand's own Scott McLaughlin in the Australian V8 Supercar Championship when he was able to pass 5-time V8 Supercar champion Jamie Whincup on the last turn at Clipsal in a Volvo, which scored Volvo its first podium of the year. I won't say the quote because it's highly inappropriate. That means swearing and shit, so well, I just did it there, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, we're now back out in 19th position behind Gilles Bianchi, who we are currently thinking of here at Team Keenan Autosport. I mean, that was a very horrific crash at Suzuka that he's had, and we hope that he comes out of it all right, because no man deserves to be put out to pasture by something like that. I mean, a lot of people can joke around it saying, yeah, he clipped a tractor during a safety car period, but you got to understand the conditions were pretty bad, and there was nothing he could do. So our thoughts are with you, Gilles, and hopefully you can pull out of it and do a Schumacher. So now as we actually range up behind him, we're going to make a pass up here, up the inside of him, and there's Hulkenberg there. So, yeah, the person who caused I've obviously caused Hulkenberg to lose a truckload of positions, and now we're in his DRS range. And we're currently 5/10 of a second behind him, and Bianchi is not going to really contend with us. Sorry if I said that wrong. And Hulkenberg's just actually come into contact with Kimi Räikkönen, who also was a victim of us. So we're going to go around the outside of Kimi, hopefully not cause another problem. Kimi's just holding his line as he should, but we've made short work of him. And now Pick is the next target, just a couple of tenths up the road. So as far as pace is going, we're not doing too bad with these tyres. We've only used up a lap of fuel, so once we make up some more ground, hopefully we'll be able to determine where we sit in the pit field. Sorry, I'm stuttering a little bit, but here we go. So I'm in the DRS range of Pick, and we'll now shove our Red Bull up the inside of him and take that position. So on the prime tyres, we're clearly a lot better in performance. I've never really personally been a good driver on the options. It's primes where I've been able to get all my good times and stuff like that, which is quite unfortunate, because in qualifying online I can't seem to use that to my advantage. It actually kind of goes against me. But it's like I say, I've never been a good qualifier in these kind of events, so it's really just touch and go. But so we're now making through a lot of people. Vettel looks like he's come in. Either that or either Alonso's got him, or Vettel's come in and Alonso hasn't taken the lead of the race. And if that's the case, then I've lost masses of time to that because of my tyre situation and for holding back a lot of fuel. We've got Bottas currently in front of us in 15th and Paul Di Resta in 15th. So remember, Di Resta started 9th in this race, so he's obviously come in for a pit stop. That, or he's been caught up in some skirmishes throughout the race. We're on lap 8 of 17, so we were just over the halfway mark. Well, actually, we're just reaching the halfway mark, I'd say, here. Get into the gravel a little bit, and Bottas is just up the road from us. He's in a chain of cars. I outbrake myself just a little bit. 3 seconds up the road is the distance between me and Bottas. And I'm now just getting a call from my engineer that I've picked up some marbles. Usually it's not that big of a deal. Just kind of actually really ruins your braking, if anything. So a lot of cars are now coming into pit lane. Bottas has stayed out. Grosjean, it looks like Alonso's come in, because Massa now leads this race. And it's telling me now that Bottas is on standard reds. And we're down to 1 lap of fuel. We're currently P9, so hopefully we haven't lost too much time. As we set a green time in the first sector, which means that's personal best. It's now going to take a late dive up the inside of Bottas. He holds his line, but gives me enough space to have a go. And we're up to now back up to P8. So good job by the Red Bull guys for giving me a car that's able to pass. And there is Daniel Ricciardo, former Toro Rosso driver, now driving for the Red Bull in this year's season. In fact, he drives the car I'm currently driving now, the Red Bull of Mark Webber. So I'm going to give Ricciardo a little bit of a respect your seniors kind of attitude, and hopefully he'll respect that and let me through. I'm not going to try anything too silly here. And Ricciardo actually now dives into pit lane, so hopefully we might be able to use him. If we don't... Yep, now we can use him for our DRS boost. And there's Vettel. So Vettel has come in, and we have actually jumped Vettel in the pit stop. So that is very interesting. And that's Massa as well, so we're going to dive up the inside of him. So we've made up enough time that we've actually been able to pass both Vettel and Massa for the race... in the race. Unfortunately, it kind of looks like that we might have lost a bit of time to everyone else, because Button is 3 seconds up the road in 4th place. So we've pretty much come back to where we were, but I'm curious as to what's happened to Vettel, because he was leading by a good mile or so, and now he is actually behind me after the pit lane. I mean, I know he was losing time or something or other, because he wasn't leading the race for a while. But to lose so much time that he actually, although he's now giving Button a bit of a hard time, and our tyres are going to fall away on us, so there's a good chance that Vettel's going to jump us later on. But still, to see Vettel in such a commanding lead, suddenly to being behind us after the pit lane shuffle, and Alonso setting the fastest time, meaning that his Ferrari's obviously tuned up to the max, makes me kind of wonder what's happened to the 4-time Formula 1 champion. And that's actually given us a bit of a reprieve, as Masters now drop it to 2.7 seconds, but we've also lost time to Button to the degree of 5 seconds. So anyway, we're going to carry on, going to press on. We keep seeming to cut that area, but it seems to get away with it. The rules are realistic, I will assure you that. But yeah, we've lost a fair bit of time to Button, but we've gotten some back into the first sector and put some out to Massa as well. So this is looking to be about a 5th or 4th place finish if the tyres can hold out for 6 more laps. As we look at the readings, it looks like they might drop the cliff very, very shortly. So if we can just manage our tyres just as much as we can, but not lose any pace to Button or Vettel now, who seems to have gotten past Massa, then we'll be fine. But we've also lost a bit of time in that second sector to Button, and lost time to Vettel as well. So Vettel is on a charge now. He's looking to rectify what has happened in the race, which I'd love to know myself what has happened. It's not like Vettel to be in such a commanding lead and then just drop away all of a sudden. Maybe he made a mistake, or maybe Alonso was hassling him too much, or who knows, maybe he's got a terminal issue. So engineer hasn't said anything, so we've got a 5-second deficit to Button, but a 2.8 second buffer to Vettel. So that's going to change in due course as my tyres drop away, and Vettel is on much fresher tyres than me. So the plan to undercut has kind of worked in a way to allow us P5 again, but it ultimately gave us no real gain to the further ups, and for some reason we're in front of our teammate. I haven't had any call yet for a multi-21 yet, or a multi-12, so there's no indication of team orders just yet, and I'm kind of hoping that they're not, because even though my car probably isn't as quick as Vettel's, which is clearly shown by the mini-map below me, as Vettel was actually drawing closer and closer and closer to me, I'm hoping that the directors don't tell me to pull over and let Vettel through. In fact, look at that, 1.9 seconds from a 2.8 second deficit buffer in the start of that last lap. But as you can see, my tyres have just fallen off the cliff already, and I've got absolutely no grip. And now Vettel is ranging up the back of me. I'm probably going to have to just let him go, because he's got a better chance of doing this than I do. So I'm going to let him go. Or am I? I think I might just give him a bit, gonna at least make him work for it. But there you go. There goes Vettel. So multi-12 looks to be. So yep, multi-12 is in order, and it looks like Massa has dropped a lot of time. So something's happened to him, which probably is half the reason why Vettel was able to get through. But even with 4 laps to go, I don't really see Vettel making too much of an impact on button. So this looks to be like Vettel's finishing position, and this is probably going to be mine, which is, well, I'd say in the field of how the reverse strategy worked, probably not as impressive as it should have been, but considering I'm playing on the Legend difficulty, I was actually kind of expecting to be absolutely swamped by everyone, including the Caterhams and the Marushas. So to come out of this pretty much in the position where I started is still a good feat for me, especially considering I'm probably not one of the greatest drivers on the F1 leaderboard, probably sub-average beyond most people. But to be able to finish 6th in a Legend race, pull off a strategy that probably, if I hadn't done, would probably have seen me drop even further down the field, I think I've done reasonably okay. But as you can see there, my readout is now showing that my tyres have dropped off the cliff, which means I should really be conserving. So I'm going to drop back down to lean fuel and then just conserve my way through the finish. My engineer's just telling me that my fuel is good, that I should move up to the next limit, but at this point my tyres are absolutely torn to shreds. And I've got a 10-second buffer to Romain Grosjean in the Lotus, so really my goal now is to just hold on to position and finish 6th. Because, well, getting on the podium and a win, unless a safety car comes out, that's totally out of the question. And, yeah, getting onto a podium now is very much out of the question. It was even pretty much out of the question when I was in 5th, chasing down Button, because 3rd, 2nd and 1st seem to have been well up the road, which I think must be Alonso, Hamilton, and I would say Rosberg probably, as JJ Joy comes online. I really should have actually been offline, so I didn't have those kind of interruptions, but either way, bit of a mistake coming onto the last corner. We are currently now 6.9 seconds behind Vettel, but remember, we're not chasing Vettel anymore, we're just conserving. But Grosjean has taken 3 seconds out of us, so with 2 laps to go, and he's taking 3 seconds out of me each lap, there's a very good chance that Grosjean could actually come out of nowhere and surprise us at the end of town, in the base of town. So we're going to have to be very cautious and conserve our car. As you can see, he's taken another second out of us, so he's really hustling. He's obviously got his car on either rich or standard fuel, compared to me, which is on lean fuel with very worn out tyres. And our goal is to hold on for 6th, so if we're not careful, 6th might become 7th. But still good, valuable points. And as I said, this is legendary difficulty, as I make another mistake, and he's taken another second out of me, so he's taken a second sector out of me, and there's only 3 sectors per lap, so he's taken practically 3 seconds out of me each lap, which is very bad for us. And as you can see, his mini-map icon is getting closer and closer. So as we cross the line to start lap 16, we are looking to be in very much danger to Grosjean, who's now only 3.7 seconds behind. So he is virtually a lap away from taking 6th from us if we're not careful. I've got enough fuel to go to rich fuel and try to pull away, but the chances are my tyres are not going to allow me to do that. So we're going to have to hustle. But we're not doing so, although we've managed to actually level out and only lose a couple of tenths that lap, so, well, in that sector. So we're doing what we need to, and that's keeping Grosjean away as little as possible with the tyres that we have. And as you can see, the icon keeps popping up to saying how dead they are. So we're struggling, but we're managing, well, as he's now brought it down to 1.9 seconds. We've, however, managed to hold on to the point where we need to. So long as we can stay a second ahead of him, he will not overtake us at the DRS zone. and as I make a mistake at the last few corners, that's going to be very costly in the main straight. As Grosjean is now right with us. So we're going to use Kurz right there, because he's only 5/10 of a second behind us. He's going to use DRS. And as you can see, we've held on. This is the last lap. And I've braked, and it's not turning. So I've got... Oh, there we go. There's my mistake. And Grosjean... Oh, he got us. So Grosjean has got us, but I'm not going to give up without a fight. So I'm going to switch back up to rich fuel, and I'm going to try and retake him. But as you can see, my tyres are completely shredded, and he is just driving away. So that's unfortunate. Even late braking from me is not going to help. He has got us, but it's still a further 10 seconds back to Vettel. So we did our best. We tried our hardest to hold on, and Fernando Alonso comes to claim the win, which is actually pretty much what happened in this last year's season. Except Vettel came home in second, I think. And we're going to come home in a rather disappointing 7th, considering that I was trying so hard to stay in 6th. But Grosjean obviously had fresher tyres, quicker car, and managed to get us when we made our mistake at the first set of corners. So unfortunately, that's it for us here. 7th place. We started 6th, so we've lost a position from the start. And I've cut the corner again, so they're not. What are they going to do? Give me a penalty? But either way, yep, 7th place. Alonso takes the win. Vettel comes home in 5th, I think. Thanks for watching. Keep in touch with the Team Keenan Autosport channel for more updates, and hopefully another video to come with it, as well as some 2014 coverage, hopefully next week. Till then, Delta Newer X out.